Hello, spooky friends, and welcome to another episode of Storytime with the Scariest Podcast.
Woo!
Not to be confused with Pasta Time, which is our episode that will be next week, right? It's every other week. So
Indeed.
We're going to go back and forth. I'm Robin Grace, this is Adam Diaz.
Hello.
And if this is your first time, welcome. We read homegrown horrors on our Storytime episodes, and Adam's going to tell everyone what that is.
Homegrown horrors are the stories that you wonderful listeners and viewers have sent to us via the email or social media links. And they can be stories that are supernatural, spiritual, coincidental, true crime, sometimes extraterrestrial, ghostly, a bunch of different things in nature. And if you have a story like that, Robin, where can folks send them? You
can send them to storytime@scariest.com. That is our email. You can also send it to our Storytime. So you can send it to our social media. So Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all that fun stuff.
Indeed. We would love to hear from you. And if you have a fictional story you would like to submit, or you know of a creepypasta, and you're like, oh, I thought that was this time. Like Robin said, those are going to be the Pasta Time episodes. And if you would like to send us that, you can email pastatime@scariest.com. That is our email address that we're using for Pasta Time, which is going to be a good old time. Everyone seemed to enjoy the first Pasta Time. We got some pretty good feedback on it. So fun stuff. If you're watching live, or if you're watching pre-recorded for that matter, and you can see me with your eyeballs, you can see that the donation goal, we have one every month that it basically just encourages folks to donate. We had set for the month of February was hit. And the goal this month was, if we got to that, I would shave into the monkey tail beard, which I have, and I look like a royal asshole. You can also see that on our social media stories. I did post it there as I shaved down. I also think it kind of looks good. So, folks, please let me know on our social medias if you think I should keep this forever.
No.
Because Robin really hates
it. It is awful.
It's ridiculous. And realistically, I will probably be getting rid of this right after the show, but maybe not. I don't know. We'll see what happens with it. We'll see how long I stick with it.
You look like two different people.
I look awesome is how I look. My boss, I had a one-on-one after I shaved with my boss, and it's video chat, and he was just like talking to me like normal, and he's like, wait, turn to the right. And I did. He's like, oh my God. So it was pretty funny. He thought it was hilarious, though. He's really laid back and super cool. So it was a good little thing to share with him and no one else at my company. So pretty big
just
relief.
The internet, just the whole internet.
And now the internet, yeah. But it wasn't like I was in a professional meeting like, okay, so we're going to go over some quarterly numbers. Tailbeard. Yeah, fun stuff. So like Robin said, this is story time. So would you like to read the first homegrown horror, or should I?
Why don't you read the first one? Because my first one is 2 sentences.
Okay, we had a really short one, but I didn't want to skip it. And then I gave Robin the longest one as well. And then I have 2 medium length ones. So also, I want to point out, okay, we've mentioned before, we're big fans of Rick and Morty. We think the show is wonderful. It's genius, absolutely. And we just can't stop singing this stupid fucking song, Doo-Doo in My Butt, from like, I think the 3rd season, like near the end of the 3rd season with Fruipyland. So is
Fruipyland 3rd season, or well, they only have 3 seasons, right?
They have 4.
Or they have 4?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's end of 3rd season or near the end of 3rd season. But anyways, it's stupid, but we just might break out into song because we've been singing it so damn much for like the last 3 days. So hopefully that doesn't happen, but we'll see. That said, I'm going to jump into the first homegrown horror of the show. And this one's subject is nursing home horror, which already kind of breaks my heart because I'm hoping it's like supernatural and not an actual story about just terrible nursing home. So let's jump into it. Starts out like this. Hello, spooky friends.
Hello.
Hello. And all you out there, yell hello wherever you're at, no matter how crazy it makes you look. My name is Alicia, and I am a nurse aide at a nursing/rehab facility. I have been one for 8 years, and I have seen some things. For example, I have cleaned up dead bodies. I'm the one who gets them ready to be picked up by the morgue.
What the French toast?
I have always gone into the room after they have died. Recently, I was in a room where a resident started to shake and throw up. She then looked at me straight in the face and then looked up at the ceiling. And then the look on her face changed. It was like she saw something come out of the ceiling, and then seconds later, she was gone.
Wow.
That is terrifying.
That's super terrifying.
We also have had a cursed room called T58. Over the course of 6 months, whoever went into this room never made it out. The sting of bad luck lasted for 5 residents who all died in this room. This room became colder than all the other rooms in the facility, and the staff just started to assume that it was cursed And whoever was going in was not going to make it out.
What if because the room is too cold, people keep dying in it?
Yeah, warm the fucking room up.
My God.
Jeez.
It's terrifying.
That is until we had a Catholic priest come in for rehab. I don't know what this guy did, but he made it out alive and broke the curse.
Oh, wow.
It could be just a coincidence that 5 people died and that the 6th person made it out okay and that there was nothing supernatural about it.
Or he totally, blessed the room because he was like, this is evil.
I mean, he could just be there, in his presence, a little bit more godly than most, and just wasn't bothered by it for whatever reason. But there's more to this. It says, or it could be that there was some bad juju in that room and that all the prayers made by the new resident, who just so happened to be a Catholic priest, cleared up all the negative spirits.
Yeah.
It's a good theory. The worst week I have ever worked was a week where the facility had 10 deaths in 5 days. It was so rough, and the people who died were some of the faces of the facility. They were liked by all. The creepy part is that on that Saturday coming into work, I saw a person in a black cloak walking away from the facility. I was not the only one who saw this thing. I don't want to jump to conclusions, but this person resembled the Grim Reaper, and the other people who saw it all agree, after that day, the deaths all went back to normal, somewhat random and spaced out. I love your show and just wanted to congratulate you on having John Cena on your show, smiley face. One of the commercials I get from your show is one that's voiced by John Cena, and I love it. Yeah, he's like our dear friend. He said he'd read some commercials for us, so it's really cool.
If I could meet John Cena, I think that would actually be really cool.
I've never watched him actually wrestle. I've only ever seen him in film and television. So I've
only seen GIFs of him wrestling.
Yeah, I'd be like, you're fucking hilarious, dude. I assume you're a good wrestler because you made it all the way to Hollywood, but whatever. I am happy I can mix my favorite pod with my favorite sports entertainer, gone actor. Love you guys. Bye. Bye. Thank you for sending that in.
Thank you for sending that in.
And thank you for being a nursing aide at a nursing facility. I have a grandmother who was in a nursing facility for some time, and her stay was definitely made more pleasant by the fact that she had really good nurses, like I assume you are.
I think working in a nursing home would be kind of scary because you do see a lot of people die. And it's just, it can't be helped, But I guarantee there are ghosts. I was going to say,
and not to mention, there's got to be so many people with stories. Like, she has her stories from her time there.
Yeah.
And other people at the same facility probably have different stories. Yeah. And that is terrifying and crazy. So have all your coworkers write to us because we would love to hear what they have to say. And also thank them for the work they do. So, good way to start the show.
My first one of this episode is titled, Hi, My Constipated Ghost May Use on Podcast. Oh, actually, this story. Didn't someone just send an email today to update it?
Nope.
Was it a different email?
It was a different email.
Okay, cool. All right. So it goes, Hi, Robin and Adam. That's us.
Hello.
I'm Sochi. I heart your dogs.
Aw, thank you.
Thank you. We heart our dogs too.
Someone posted in the Facebook group, hand sketch drawings of a bunch of different dog breeds. And then their shitty personalities.
What?
And the one for Shiba was like, don't fucking touch me. One bullet point said that. And the next bullet point says screams. And I was like, oh, that's pretty accurate.
Anytime you Google a Shiba, in the descriptions, it always brings up the Shiba scream because
it's like a husky, but higher pitched.
When we first got her, she was, I don't even remember how old she was.
3 months.
Was she 3 months?
She was 3 months.
Oh, man. And so we put her in a cage, little kennel on the floor, and all she did was scream. And
it was like sort of crying that led to just screaming.
Yeah. And you couldn't sleep. We would just put her there to sleep. And so eventually what we had to do was put her kennel on top of our other dog's kennel, so it was face level to us, and that was the only way she would stop screaming.
And nowadays, her kennel's the favorite place to be, especially if she's gonna go to sleep. She just goes into it okay, nighttime.
Yeah.
And it's on the floor now. She doesn't even care. But yeah, that was definitely one thing that we didn't realize when we first got her was
the screaming,
just how bad the screaming would be,
and it's just that separation anxiety.
Yeah, all of a sudden she's alone in the dark. So sorry, we're gonna get back to your email now.
We just love our dogs. Okay.
You brought him up, okay? This is on you.
All right, continues. Shout out to Spooky Mom. I am a butthole, so I only listen to the Storytime episodes, and I found you 2 months ago on podcasts. Is that an app or a website?
Must be.
Maybe. I don't know.
It might be Apple Podcasts, because I'm pretty sure it doesn't say Apple Podcasts. If you're on an iOS device, it just says podcasts.
Popping bottles in the ice. All right. So I have a ghost in my bathroom. I always get angsty in there and hate showering. I also have a ghost ferret, which is the weirdest thing. It likes to rub your legs, but feels like a weird noodle.
What's funny is a lot of folks say they have ghost cats. Like, we've gotten multiple of those, and I think this is our first ghost ferret.
It's not a ghost. It's like, it's an actual ferret, but it like rubs against your legs, and it's really weird. So it's a real ghost. So it's like, it feels weird, but they attached a picture of it. So it's a real,
okay. Gotcha.
It's a real animal. It's just, it likes to run and, rub against your legs, like, creepily, I guess.
When I had a ferret when I was a kid, it used to climb up your legs, then like lay around your neck, which was pretty cute.
I've never had a ferret. I've had birds, rabbits, and dogs and cats.
Nice.
Yeah. So in my house, I see a man sitting on the toilet with his arms on his face. A shadow man. And sometimes I see him on my chair with the same expression, but he definitely looks constipated. What's your constipated face?
I'm usually just sad when I'm constipated.
When I'm constipated, I'm just like...
This is great audio for our listeners. Like, all I did was frown, and what Robin's doing is
just sitting there.
She just looks frustrated. I don't know what
I've been constipated before. I've been so constipated that I had to go to the hospital because I was so constipated.
Yeah, I guess what it was.
I was constipated.
No, she hadn't drank water in like 2 days.
It's because I drank a lot of coffee.
She was drinking. If you drink too much caffeine, you will not go.
Yeah, you can't shit. So definitely drink water if you drink a lot of coffee.
Word to the wise.
Word to the wise. All right. Sorry for how long this is. That is so short. Don't even worry about it. Wondering if you could give me any insight. I love you guys. Shout out to the spooky mom, and I love your dogs. Thank you for loving our dogs. We love our dogs too. We could talk about them forever.
Thank you for shouting out my mom as well. I would say sage the bathroom. That's where I would start with. Sage the bathroom. Maybe get some incense that just burns, and people will be like, "Oh, you're going to make the bathroom not smell like poop," and just
get
him
some Imodium or something.
Wow,
something for his constipation.
Ghost Modium. Do they make that? I don't know how to cross over, and I don't know what currency they use.
But see, like in Asian culture, at least, when it's a certain, like, not a holiday, like on a death day of a family member or something, you give offerings. Offer up some Imodium.
Wow, that's funny.
And because it's like in the spirit world, they can eat and they can do all this stuff with whatever you've laid out for them, So lay out some of that stuff for them.
That might work. Maybe they died on the toilet and they're just trying to finally pass that shit.
They definitely had a doo-doo in their butt.
They had the doo-doo in their butt. Indeed they did. What I think is funny is when most people die, their sphincters release and then they shit themselves. So wouldn't it be ironic if you died of constipation and then as soon as you died, you shit yourself finally?
I feel like if you are that constipated, that's not happening.
You're not going to shit yourself when you die?
I don't think so.
That's probably a good point.
It's like a fucking rock in there, right? That's what constipation is?
I think it's pretty fucking funny that we were talking about the doo-doo in your butt song and we got an email about a constipation ghost. But, I mean, sometimes things just work out. Weird coincidence? I think not. But, yeah. Thank you for sending that in. So, like most of you know, we are sponsored currently by Manscaped. Want to give a big shout out to the Lawnmower 3.0 because this was the thickest my beard has ever been. Quite legitimately, it was the hobo beard that I was going for. It would have kept me warm if I was in any of the other places in the country that are super cold because of the polar vortex. But yeah, we're in Vegas, so it hasn't been too bad. But yeah, I shaved down to my ridiculous facial hair today using my Lawnmower 3.0. And it worked really, really well. It actually helped me trim it out really well. I've only ever used that trimmer specifically for delicate skin, like a ball sack. What's nice
Not
is
the
that
same one on your face,
yeah,
though,
they
right?
sent us the extra one. So I took the one that was in here, that had only ever been used on the side of my face rather than use the one that I used on my ball bush. So, but it worked incredibly well and I highly recommend the product.
So one is labeled ball bush and one
I'm going to have to go in there and sniff them now.
Yeah.
Be like, that smells like my face. That smells like balls. So who knows though? I might be able to figure it out. But
just spray it with the Manscaped cologne.
Smells very good though. Go ahead and check it out if you like cologne. I highly recommend it. Most colognes are a bit too pungent for me, but I think this one smells really nice. It stays around most of the day and it's subtle. So check that out. Aside from that, it's just a really good product and anything that you find over there on Manscaped, if you go to checkout, you can get 20% off and free shipping by using code SCARYISH at checkout. One more time, 20% off. It's a lot. It's 1/5. Holy shit. $100? Is that your order? Here's $20 off. Want some free shipping? I'll toss that in too. All you gotta do is use code SCARYISH. Thanks, Manscaped, for making our winter wieners look so good. And in this case, my face, which is like the wiener of my skull.
It's a different type of head.
That's way better, damn it. So before we move into our next story, we are going to take a really quick commercial break. And we're back. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get into my second and the third email of the show. This is actually not an email. This came in via Twitter. It was tweeted at us. It wasn't a DM. It was tweeted at us, and because it was too long to be an actual tweet, it's a photo of a story that was written in some sort of document preparation tool, like, say, Word. So it's like, this one couldn't get sent to Spooky Mom for corrections unless she printed it out and like used pen and like marked it out. And this one is called My Sleep Paralysis Dream. Starts out like this. My sleep paralysis started with seeing a snake head right by my neck on the right side of my head. I was so scared, so I stayed still and went back to sleep into the dream.
He just reminds me of the Chamber of Secrets.
Why? Because it has a snake in it?
The snake mouth.
You're like Jerry right now, where it's like, it's just like the end of Old Yeller. It's like, because it has a dog. It continues. Then I woke up and I assumed it bit me because I got a shock through my body and I couldn't move.
That's terrifying.
Yeah. If you think okay, if sleep paralysis starts with seeing a snake and then you get bit, and you assume...
Can a snake paralyze you?
I'm sure a snake's venom can paralyze people. It just depends on which snake it is, you know? But like, imagine getting bit and sleep paralysis and then thinking the reason you can't move is because you're paralyzed and you're dying. That would be horrible, dude.
That would be horrific.
It felt like electricity was in my body weighing me down. It's like feeling numb, but 10 times that. Anyway, while feeling held down, immediately I thought to cover my dog, and I tried to do that so she wouldn't get bit, but I couldn't move. She was on my left side.
Would you do that too?
I mean, the first thing I would worry is that you were going to get bit.
Oh.
So, but yeah, I'm sure that I would worry about the pets after that. You would worry about the pets first. Pets, probably my mom, maybe some stuff downstairs. Valuable possessions. Then you'd be like, is Adam here? Uh-oh. Forgot about him. All right, the dog was on the left side of him next to his neck. I also felt something warm on my legs at my feet, but at the time I thought it was my dog. Starting to realize that it was a dream or a nightmare, I tried yelling, but it was quiet, air forcefully leaving my lungs and out of my mouth.
That feeling.
But I was trying to scream, help me. After this, I tried sitting up, but it was like a gravitational pull made out of the wind was pulling and weighing me down as I tried to get up. It's kind of funny how elemental you're comparing things that are weighing you down, because the first thing you said was it was like electricity was holding you down, and now it's like the wind is holding you down. So what? Earth, fire, and love are the three ones left to go.
Earth, wind, fire, and air. We may look bad, but we don't care.
What's that from?
It's the Scooby-Doo movie where they go to Salem and the Hex Girls are playing a concert, and that's their song that they sing.
Wow. That's, how did I not know that? While trying to get up, I yell in my mind and trying to yell out my mouth, "This is my dream," multiple times. I started to sit up forcefully, but it was hard. Eventually, I was sitting up fully while trying to get up from the bed, and my head wasn't moving with my body. I've had that dream where you can't lift your head. I don't know if you've ever had that. We've talked about it before, but
I've never had
awful.
A dream where I couldn't lift my head, but I've had paralysis where I couldn't move, and I would try to scream, and you can feel the air coming out of you trying to scream.
But your vocal cords won't work.
But nothing will work, yeah.
That's scary. I slowly move my head harder, pushing to see the door, but it's open and someone is in front of my bed next to it. They were in front of the open door and my bed. They were a girlish character. They were black and white, wearing a variety of clothes, black hair, and her whole body, including her clothes, were dark. Like someone put a pair of sunglasses on and looked at this character. This character kept... You know what it reminds me of is the second season of Haunting of Hill House? That ghost with the shiny reflective glasses that's like more of like a dark silhouette.
Yes. Yeah.
That's kind of what I'm picturing. This character kept popping in and out of existence. I believe they were what my mind perceived as a ghost. Anyway, I'm finally off my bed and stumbling because of the weight. My brother's desk is in front of me. The character is out of my room, and I am now really short sprinting out of my room, but slow and make it out. I realize that I'm in my old house and in my brother's room, but with all my stuff. This is important because outside my brother's room, there is a door leading outside. I run to the door like a cartoon character, and there is a pizza man opening the door, and I yell at him. As my short 1 foot self, so now they're 1 foot tall.
It's a weird dream.
I run to the kitchen, then see a little track at the back and ignore it, then talk to my uncle, and he calls me short. This is like just a stream of consciousness at this point.
Did you watch Alice Through the Looking Glass?
I've never seen that.
Or Alice in Wonderland or something like, you know what I mean? Where it's like I'm small. Now I'm big. Now I'm small.
I've never seen it. I'm happy and I realize I'm the size of a Smurf and run through the track like a car.
How big are Smurfs?
The Smurfs are tiny.
I've never seen it.
I mean, you never watched Smurfs as a kid?
I just know they're blue.
You're gonna shit talk me for never seeing Zaboomafoo and you've never seen Smurfs?
They're blue and they have white hats. Wait, do they have different color hats? That's pretty
accurate. I mean, one of them has a white hat for sure. They don't all wear hats, I don't think, but yeah, they're tiny. They're like little things that live in the grass blades.
Oh.
So, okay, this guy's 1 foot tall, which would be the largest Smurf of all time. Doesn't matter. So they're running around this track. They realize they're in a dream. They ask their uncle to confirm their suspicion and ask why they're in this house. He said because the other one was too big. This confirms my suspicion and I now know it's a dream. And I say that's not what he would say and this isn't real. It's a dream. Then he had a medicine ball in his hand and bounced it like a basketball and threw it at a china cabinet and said, "We're trying to break the glass." I tried stopping it with force and then realized it was hard and this demon was either trying to control me or take me back. Then I realized...
Take me home.
When I realized this, I was back in paralysis in my bed and then I woke up. Now thinking about it, the snake was probably a demon trying to steal my soul or whatever. I don't know about that. And the ghost was one that attached to me from my previous home or one from this new house. All I know is, in the end, that no dog was ever on my legs, and the ghost was probably sadly observing me as a hostage. And that's the end of it. So, interesting take on what appears to be a sleep paralysis episode with a nightmare included. There's also a crude drawing of where everything was taking place. It looks like it was made in paint. Trying to explain like sort of the path that everything was on. This is a kind of a crazy rant situation here going on a little bit. I understand when you have a dream, when it's fresh, you want to have that stream of consciousness to put it down. I would definitely recommend like pulling out your thoughts and thinking what it could have been. I don't think that the snake that you saw was likely real. It was most likely a hallucination
when you're
caused
having
by sleep
night
paralysis.
terrors and sleep paralysis and things like that, you see things.
Yeah, you see some fucked up shit.
It doesn't necessarily mean that it's there, but you definitely have hallucinations and stuff like that because you're in, I mean, some people explain it as being in the middle of, you're sleeping, right? So your brain is showing you things like you're sleeping, but because you're still awake, it's like in the, I don't know, waking world, you know? You're awake, so
it's like your dreams are projecting onto the background of reality.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's just, it's definitely one of those things where you don't want to read too much into sleep paralysis or a nightmare, but we totally understand how terrifying they can absolutely be. I always mention this, and I mentioned this on the topic episode. It's like, whenever you jump to the most extreme thing, there's not much space to wiggle around in, and you tend to get yourself a little bit more worked up. So, thinking that it was a demon trying to steal your soul, I totally understand from the fear of it and not being able to move. It's nice to know that it wasn't actually there. And you didn't actually get bit, so let's hope that that wasn't the case. But
yeah, if it were a real snake, fuck.
Yeah, that would fucking suck. So if it was an actual demon trying to steal your soul through biting you too, I don't know. I don't think it would let you go. And if it bit you, I'd say it got you. So if you can still open doors at supermarkets, like the doors that open automatically, you're fine. I've learned from a documentary called The Simpsons that when you lose your soul, things like that tend to stop working. So
when Bart sells his soul,
one of the best episodes of all time of any television show ever is when Bart sells his soul in The Simpsons. So, but anyways, thank you so much for sending that in.
So the final email of the episode is from someone who's written to us before. So this one's titled "The Coma." Coma, chameleon.
You hear a sound and you have to sing a fucking
I don't know
song
why.
Or
okay.
quote a movie.
So it's called "The Coma." It goes, "Hello, my favorite spooky peeps."
Hello.
Hello, that's hopefully us. I figured since you read my first story and it didn't bore you, I would send you another one. I had to laugh at my offensive codename Q because I have no idea why it's offensive. It's a letter in my initials is why I used it. I'm so confused. It's just an American thing, I think. Adam, I promise I will not turn on your podcast and do the sex ever.
That's good to know.
Why not, though? If that's what does it for you, just do what you want.
We're happy to help. That's all we're saying.
I'm just not sure it would be the best aphrodisiac. That's funny. I'm into you guys, but not that into you. You two are the best, and thanks for laughs. I did not find you on Spotify anyway, or by the way, so bleh. I'm lucky that's the face. That's the emoji face. I'm lucky I figured out how to run the Apple Podcast thing. I'm not tech savvy. Side note, I actually found you from a bad review on another podcast I had started listening to. No joke.
Fuck them.
No, I think it's like the other podcast got a bad review and the person was like, you should listen to this podcast instead.
Oh, then I like that instead.
Yeah.
I'm going to let that be my mind canon.
I'm going to have that be the canon too. I probably should have let you guys know in my last email why I think my boyfriend stuck around my house. He was going to move in with me the weekend he died. All of his belongings were packed and ready to go. I couldn't possibly tell you all of the things that happened in my first home. Doors opening when I know I locked them, not just closed them. Dogs being weird, lights going on the fritz, jacuzzi tubs turning on. Nice.
Nice.
Weird shit for a new house. Robin, yes.
That's like first world problem shit right there. Like, our helicopter kept turning itself on. Does that ever happen to you?
Well, no. See, if a helicopter turned on, that's terrifying.
Turned itself on. That means you own the helicopter, though.
Yeah, but what if you jumped into the blades and it just happened to be on and then you're dead?
Well, yeah, because you were planning on jumping into the blades when they weren't turning.
I'm just saying. If jumping into a jacuzzi when it's on is not as terrifying.
Okay.
Robin, yes, I have PTSD for sure. I get super uneasy when motorcycles of any type get near me while driving. All right, I'll shut up and get to the part when I was in a coma. Growing up, I lived in a house that my great-grandparents built. My bedroom happened to be my great-grandmother's parlor when she was alive. I never felt uneasy there. No bad vibes or ghostly encounters whatsoever as a child. Fast forward to high school, I'm laying in bed and can't sleep. I rolled over onto my back and finally opened my eyes, and there was what I would call an orb hovering over me. The best description I can give is it looked like an odd-shaped bubble, not a perfect circle, filled with smoke and somewhat illuminated. It startled me enough that I flicked the light on, and it was gone. So okay, my eyes were adjusting, and it was nothing, right? That's what I thought too, until I turned the light off and it was hovering above my window.
Yep, that's a bit different.
I ET'd it the hell out of there. ET'd. Found home.
Phone home.
I've never seen that movie.
What?
Yeah, I've never seen that movie. God. I don't even know what it's about other than an alien touching fingertips with a kid.
Yep, that's all it's about. It's 2 hours of that.
Really?
No.
What? Okay.
Obby.
Anyway, I hope you're laughing because I imagine myself looking exactly like E.T., gunning it out of my bed and screaming into the living room. Does he do that in the movie?
Yeah.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. My mom came out all sorts of pissed because I woke both my parents up. They did an investigation for me and found nothing. Could be just nothing, but this will bring us to maybe a week or so later when I was struck by a vehicle while I was in a crosswalk.
Oh my god, dude.
That's fucking nuts. The accident landed me in a coma and then an extended stay in a suite a la hospital and inpatient rehab so that I could learn to function. Walk and talk like a normal human again. What makes this particular story scary-ish is that when I finally woke up out of the coma, the first thing I asked was for my great-grandmother. She died when I was very little and I don't have any memory of her. So that was kind of weird. But I also pointed at my mom's under eyes and told her that she looked really old right after that. Talk about ruffling some feathers.
Damn, dude.
What the fuck? It's like...
Shots fired.
It's like your kid's been in a coma. Of course you're stressed and tired and exhausted. And this kid's just like, bro, you look old. I don't know. I think it's both funny and sad. Poor mom. 14 days of an unconscious kid clinging to life and they wake up and insult you. That's gotta be rough. She said it wasn't that bad having a teenager in a coma. Joking, of course. Anyway, I can recall to this day very vividly being in a coma. It was just a series of back-to-back dreams of being in a hospital. I was a vampire in the hospital chapel and made candles go out with my mind in one dream, and I was in the McDonald's drive-thru in a hospital bed in another. Zero scary-ish there. To sum it up, there was really no big aha moment that would connect my great-grandma to the coma. What does connect her and make this ghostly or guardian angel-like is that I had no injuries from the vehicle that struck me. Not directly, anyway. I didn't even have a bruise or mark on my body from being hit. All of my injuries, a fractured skull and some road rash, for the most part, came from me flying 30 feet or so through the air and hitting the pavement.
Wow.
That is nuts. I have always felt like it was her the night I couldn't sleep trying to warn me, or be near me, or something of that nature. I also have this notion that she stood in between me and the vehicle and that's why it didn't leave so much as a scratch on my body. That's my theory anyway. Maybe I'm just a weirdo. I think it's normal to think that you have a guardian angel, especially for something like that where you were tossed 30 feet and you didn't have injuries from the vehicle that shot you 30 feet, you know?
Yeah.
Seems like I'm a bit of a problem child. Sorry guys, I have no PC at all. I'm lighthearted about my trauma. PC is political correctness, right?
Mm. I know PC stands for that. I don't know if that's the context they're using it in.
No reason to harbor negative energy or sadness. Like I said in my last email, I don't know what I believe in exactly, but I'd like to think I've got a couple of amazing guardian angels now. I'm sorry for another long email again. I'm finding that it's hard to short story key moments in my life, and at this point, I've proofread this like 10 times and still don't know if it makes any sense or sounds decent. Also, thank you so much for the package from Patreon. Oh, you're welcome. It made my day when I got it. Keep on creeping on. I'm really glad you liked it, and thank you so much for sending your story. That is a really scary experience, especially when you're as a teenager, you're still a kid.
Right.
And things still affect you. As crazy as an accident this is, like, that's nuts.
I think something that's really important to note here too is, like, especially for you and for anyone else who's considering sending in a story like this, you should never feel the need to edit down your trauma just because you're afraid that the email is too long. We do not care. Like, we want you to include how you feel and what happened. If you're willing to share that, don't think we're gonna be like, oh, another paragraph where they're being super in-depth and telling us what happened in their lives. No, we really want to know, and we sincerely appreciate you sharing that with us, because being in a coma is super intense, and the fact that you saw something before that makes it incredibly interesting to whether or not something showed up and was just like, all right, I'm going to cast that protection spell on them. And then they got back to heaven. It's like, you did cast on the outside and the inside, right? And they're like, shit! And then they look down, it's like, clunk. They're like, damn it. So, who knows? I just deal with things through humor, obviously. And I appreciate you sending that in to us. So, thank you one more time. I want to thank everyone who sent in their stories this week. One more time, we sincerely appreciate sharing stories. Sometimes they're funny, sometimes they're fun, sometimes they're kind of traumatic, and the fact that you are willing to share those with us, we sincerely appreciate. So, one more time, thank you so much. If you have a story you would like to share, please email storytime@scarish.com or go to any of our social medias, facebook.com/scarishpodcast, or our Instagram is @scarishpodcast, and our Twitter is @scarishpod. You can also go to our website, scarish.com, and click on Contact Us. That form comes directly to us. If you have a creepypasta you want to hear us read, or you have your own that you've written, not just your favorite creepypasta you've read before, but something you want to share with us that might be a little short story, a little bit of fiction, feel free to email pastatime@scarish.com. That's where those are going to go. And for the ones that we get from the audience, we will try and read. We will have to have someone proofread them to make sure the content is appropriate. And if they're just a big hot mess because they haven't been proofread, then they might not make it on the show. We don't really know, but we will be also going through all there's so many creepypastas out there that currently exist in the world, and finding ones that we like so we can share them with you on Pasta Time, which is what next week will be. That said, for folks who would like to donate to us, Robin, how can they do so?
If you would like to support us by donating, you can go to patreon.com/scarishpodcast tiers. Theirs start at $1. So at $1, you get ad-free episodes, which is absolutely awesome. And then they go up from there. There's physical merch tiers, and things like that. If you're not into the whole monthly subscription thing, you can go to ko-fi.com/scarishpodcast. Those are one-time donations. Any of your donations go to our studio setup, going to us, just reinvesting into the podcast and making sure that we keep this rolling.
Indeed. So thank you so much to everyone who watches, listens, rates, reviews, subscribes, follows, all that stuff. And we sincerely appreciate you, and we could not do these without you. Literally, Storytime would not exist without any of you. So thank you so much for that. And I think that's just about everything I have for this episode. So Robin, go ahead and sign us out.
Keep on creeping on, and we'll talk to you guys later.
Adios. Bye.